Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Autumn and I'm just having a little visual journaling session. Visual journaling, well, this is my visual diary. So what if you follow me, you know I have a lot of diaries, a lot of journals. What's different to this one? Okay, so this is I call it my visual diary, so I have to have names for my different journals and diaries so I know what I'm talking about. So the reason it's a visual diary, one, as you can see, it's visual things, although I do write in it. It's a diary because it's keeping, it's memory keeping rather than it's journaling, even though it's a sort of, another type of journal. You know, journal is a very broad term, same as diary is a very broad term, but a diary tends to be something we keep sequentially or keep some memories, whether written or visual. So it's a visual diary. So this is one of my latest ones. That's my last finished one. I've got a couple on the go. So I don't work in this sequentially by page. I just sort of add things, but somewhat sequentially. So this is a photocopy of a drawing I did many years ago. I've just given a go. This is very mindful, very calming. The opposite of my brain, but something that is really wonderful for my brain, and it's about this big, and I photocopied and popped it in here. And this is a piece of underpaper from my arting that I had sort of written notes down. So I put paper down when I do painting, and then I would sometimes scribble little notes as I think of them. So my visual diary is mainly, like I think I just said, is my ephemera diary. I keep pieces of ephemera, daily ephemera, so my own personal ephemera that I collect. And no matter how uninteresting you think your life is, everyone has daily ephemera. Like I've led a life of traveling all over the world. I've done things like that. And right now my life is mostly I'm at home. I'm a mum, I work from home, I don't do anything too especially exciting these days, but there's still ephemera in my life. So if you're the type of person that thinks, and I know there's a lot of people out there who think I don't do anything really exciting, and sure there are people who are traveling all over the world, or they travel frequently and they have wonderful bits of ephemera. I do get some ephemera from pen pals, but that doesn't go in here, that's a completely different book. So this a visual diary can be something, it's separate from my commonplace book as well, because my commonplace book is things that come from the outside, but things that are like information and interesting, not my ephemera, my personal ephemera. It's different from my smash book, although it has similarities in that my smash book gets everything thrown at it. I journal quite less, or don't write quite as much in my smash book. I tend to keep things that are cardboard and stiff and a bit heavier, or from magazines. They tend to go into my smash book. So this is stuff that comes into my life, but I will also, sometimes just add a sticker. So just to give you maybe some idea. So this is a delivery driver. You get things through the post when a delivery driver has posted to you. And this one was, and usually I'm either home or I put out a note. So these two pages are connected. So this one was put into my woodshed, which was unusual. And it was a really big box, and I had to then carry it from my woodshed to inside. So that was so awkward that I wasn't home for that one. This is a doodle. So I really like to doodle. I love a lot of black and white in this diary, whereas things like my art and paint diaries are really full of colour. They're very pink and orange and light and sort of turquoise. They're my sort of favourite journaling colours. I don't do a ton of black and white, a ton of black. But with my diaries, there's a lot of black with the writing. But I also like doodling, like I showed you on that one that I'd done. That's why I thought it fitted in here. I like keeping that memory. So I doodle a bit. I'm not a huge doodler, but I do know that it is relaxing, and I love the end look of it, even if it's something really simple. So there you go. I just put that space there. I put a little note about that it was a huge box to carry in. And this is something that I scribbled on the front door, because I realised when I was leaving that I don't always like where couriers leave things, whether it's down in the rain. I live in the UK, so it rains quite a bit here, especially in this part of the UK where I am. So I just quickly threw a little note saying deliveries black box side of house. And I just put just in case we're out. So I did, little notes. And the reason why this one is in here, I said I redid it as it was getting shabby. Whenever I leave the house, I stick this message in the front door. So this is my ephemera because it's a piece of paper that I sort of wrote something on, and then I can put it in here. This was put into my through my letterbox, and I can put that in here. This is a piece of arting that I did for my membership group, and I just had it and I put it in there. This is a Clairefontaine notebook that I purchased, so I threw that in there. And I wrote notes. So I bought a few Clairefontaine journals due to a YouTube recommender. This is a sticker. That's just a little bit of washi tape that I'm currently using. This was me testing out a fountain pen. I can't remember why it was so pale, I forgot. But I even wrote that down. I think it's pale because I washed it and it still had water in it. But it's just that memory of me testing a pen. This is purchased bit of paper that I liked to go in there. A bit of washi tape I was currently using, again, just a bit of fun. So there's a lot of bits of fun in here as well. In many years ago, a couple of decades ago, when I used to have a journal like this is my most like authentic, not that my other journals are authentic, I mean the most authentically me, the most raw me, the most easy long time version of me. I've been journaling, keeping a visual diary and a commonplace book since the 80s. So a long time. And my favorite thing to do was just to throw, not just to throw, but mostly just to throw things in. I kept a lot of quotes of what people around me said, quotes that my friends would say, something funny my friend would say, and I would throw it in there. A boyfriend would give me a rose, I would press it and then it would end up in there. Went somewhere like a receipt and that will go in there. So receipts are a big thing. But I also put sometimes notes in journals. So my journals were spiral bound and they were sort of a catch-all. I kept a lot of stuff from my life and memory keeping, but also I would put maybe a poem or things like that I would come up with. They were my first journals, just very like one book. One book had everything. So this is just, I like the design of this. I like that picture. This was something I purchased. Some notes. I also do a lot of scribbling notes all over the place. There's another scribbling note. And sometimes I like the idea of just cutting pieces out and throwing them in here. This is a piece that I kept from, you'll recognise if you buy the Hobonichi diaries. These very neon pink dots. They're from some Happy Mail. And I put heck yes, bought another Hobonichi. So I don't write a huge amount, but I do write little notes of what this and that is. Trying out moodless ink and writing style nib sizes here. So yeah, that's all part of your life. That's ephemera as well. It doesn't all have to be about receipts or similar. So a lot of people think about receipts and things like that we come into our lives, and they absolutely are great because it feels good getting bits of ephemera from things that you actually experienced and being out and about and grabbing that and putting it in. It's really good, or things that we purchase. But if you just write notes, obviously I'm not going to chop up all my notes and put them in here, although I could, but I'm doing ones that maybe it was something that was worth remembering, like that under paper, because I was doing, what was that for? Oh, that was for, I think, my rollout decks. Yes, my rollout decks on my Autumn Moon Art channel. It was a big project that I did, and that was like a big deal, that those sort of notes. And this was fun just because it's ink or a fountain pen that I'm trying, that sort of thing. So this is not a complete flip through. I just want to give you an idea. The other thing you can see is that sometimes they're sort of quite messy, ripped bits and bobs, and other times I like doing this sort of very neat, gritty sort of look. I say gritty, like it's sort of like not quite a grid, but it's placed. It's very similar to how I do my Hobonichi. This was like Sport for Choice, so that's something that came through the post. It was about the thousands of handy places to post your parcels, and I wrote about it used to be a post box, a post office. Now that Royal Mail is privatized, so not technically royal anymore, and that we're online shoppers, the service is just as much a courier service as mail delivery, and now we have lockers, parcel shops and all sorts. So that was just something that came in through the post thrown in, and I normally just recycle the stuff that comes through, but occasionally, you know, it's something interesting and something that sort of talks about your life at the time. You know, looking 10 years from now, I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember when we first started changing to this bit of happy mail. That's just board ephemera. That's a doodle. That's lettering. So I do like lettering. I love lettering. I'm not very good at it, but I love doing it. So I did a bit there, and I'll find like here, I enjoy writing in different ways, that sort of thing. This is just a piece that's ripped off from some, what do you call them, like those boxes you get with meals. I was doing that for a time, so I wrote about that. This is like a sketchy thing that I was doing for when I first set up my room here, and I was trying to work out where to put shelves and what I should do. And that's just, and then I used this bit of paper to stamp off stamps that I was using, so the whole thing goes in, and it's just like, that's like a snapshot of my life. A lot of scrap paper that you use, if you're a scribbly, writey, doodly sort of person, you would have a whole bunch of this around you, I'm sure. So yeah, I'm just giving you an idea of what sort of thing I put in. This is just doodles. That's just my own doodles I'm just putting in there. A thank you card from a stamp place that I bought. So as I said, it's not a flip through, but I just wanted to give you a quick idea of what sort of things I'm putting in here. So then, you know, the next part, it's not, you know, sitting there just wondering, yes, but what do you put in there? Why? Okay, so what is this? I think this is just something I purchased. So that looks really, really, yes, it's just some washi tape or some sort of stationery thing that I purchased. And I just like, I mean, that just looks very, very nice. So here you can just see off the camera, it's a large box of what looks like mess. Why is that there? Maybe I had to, my kid gave me that. So things that your children draw, scribbles, this sort of thing that's a little harder, you know, like cardboard, I mean, right, a little thicker, I would put into my smash book. So move that aside to another place for that. That's kind of soft, it could go in there. Good things are going to happen. I kind of like that. So that's Oodle and Doodles, that's a shop. Oh, it's a loyalty card. Maybe I should keep that. That's not supposed to be there, really. Okay, I have things like receipts, of course, lots of them. That's my wrist bag for the hospital that when I was in recently. That was a car park we went to recently. That was just part of the top of a washi tape thing, but I love it how pink it is. That's really, really nice. This is a doodle that I just did. I love sort of retro folk art thing. That's a very, that orange is very much my childhood. So I'm just going to finish these pages off, and that's it, just so you get an idea that what I do with my visual journal. And it's really, really important that alongside the I can hardly say perfect pages, but the very finished sort of looking pages, that you also see that my smash books where there's just very little thought put into them, or this sort of, or my visual diary where it's not about things looking pretty. Although, you know, I'm a Libra, I do like things looking pretty. It's just, I can't help it. So nothing is ever super, super crazy. Like these are much nicer than the ones that I had when I was a teen and in my 20s. But I absolutely adored them as well. They were just really, really just me. And I don't overthink this. And I do stick bits and bobs. And none of it is meant to look amazing. But I do like aesthetically pleasing things. I like this furry bunny. And then I like the juxtaposition of this very, very rigid line pattern over here, and then again something simple with something messy. So I can't help but think, I don't overthink this because, you know, I'm an artist, this is what I do. So so this is normal to me to do things in a way that, I don't know, my eyes just like it. It's very difficult for me to just make a complete and utter mess, I think, which is okay with me. That's okay. I'm very messy with my painting, and I can't just throw paint around, but I do like things looking nice, and I think, and that's okay. Never feel guilty about that, because I do hear some people say, oh, you know, all these people that try to make this Instagram ready stuff, and it's like, it's not always about, maybe that, I'm sure there are too many of us doing it, worrying too much about what Instagram thinks or what the public thinks. However, a lot of us are very visual people, like myself, and things looking appealing visually, it's like, I don't know, it's my, I can't say it in French, raison d'être, I can't say it. Oh, I butchered that. Reason for being. Reason for being. I love things looking nice. It makes me want to flick through it again. Another way also, if you like the idea of things looking nice, but you also want the freedom to be messier, like you want to use a visual diary for jotting things down. Because I don't carry this with me, this is something I work on afterwards when, you know, I've got this box. I mean, I've got so much to get on with here that I can add in. And I do this at home. But if I was taking this around with me, so this is a strategy. If I was taking this around with me and want to use it as a sort of catch-all book or my visual diary, but I was jotting things in, but at the same time I still wanted things to look nice afterwards, there's no reason why you can't do it. Like, say I was doing like grocery list and I was just really scribbled in here and I put milk, bread, burgers, other food. Now this feels a little weird because it's really inauthentic, because it isn't a real list, I'm just showing you, but I am going to cover it. But let's say you did that, I could keep that in there like that. I think that's really cool, just having a list that I wrote, and I could just put ephemera around it, and that's absolutely like perfect to me. That's fantastic. But if you thought this is super messy and I don't like it, or actually I want to hide it, this is secret or personal, I don't need to see it again and I want to hide it, you just put ephemera over it, like it's done. It's done. And even on the other side, I can put something, there'll be something on that side, very likely covering it. Okay, so with this, I don't layer it up too much, unlike maybe another journal like my Hobonichi cousin or something like that, where I do lots of fun layering. I don't do that too much. You can see here things sort of mostly are sitting on their own, other than sometimes washi tape. Occasionally I would layer something. These are like stickers and things like that, but they pertain to maybe what I'm talking about. So there's a bit of layering going on here. But in the main, I don't layer too much. I like things being... Now, you see, this isn't that inauthentic, because now, although it's not a true grocery list, it's a thing that I will show it on my YouTube channel, you know? So now it's authentic in that way. It's like, here's something that I'll show you. So maybe if I showed half of it, so that it's not, because it isn't really a list. It's really a grocery list, but it was something I was showing you. So I'm going to layer these two. I like the idea of layering these two. Not going to layer that. And then I've got some writing I can do down here. So look how easy this is. There's just nothing to it. Now, I normally just have so many scribble notes, so many pieces of things that I can just use if I wanted to. This is a real mess, because this one I used to... as my glue pad. I just have bits of paper, then I glue. Oh, this is almost done. It's really important for us to journal in the way that makes us happy. Follow the joy journaling, you know, that's what I say, that's my mantra. And the joy comes in many different ways for many different people. There's many ways to journal as there are human beings, and some of it can be super pretty, and some of it can be an absolute mess, and some of it can be a combination of both. You know, a journal could be a combination of both, like I said, where you can do messy and then either incorporate it into your final page look, or cover it completely. And don't ever feel bad about doing things your way. Oh, I do like this pink. I won't have any journaling unless I could journal straight on that. Do I need to put this at all? I just kind of like the green. I might just put a strip of green. There we are. We could do something like that. And then I could put this here. Put that down there. And then I can write there. How easy is that? So... put it down. There we go. Just mark where I want that. And this is enjoyable to me, like placing things. I'm a curator. I love curating. I love curating colour. I love placing things in an aesthetically pleasing way. And by aesthetically pleasing, I don't mean it has to be beautiful. I don't mean it has to be amazing. I don't mean that we have to worry and think about it too much. I just mean that at the end of it, when it's done, you like the look of it. And it could be a crazy mess look that you like the look. Whatever is aesthetically pleasing to you is valid. This was a great day out. This was in Bristol. So let's put a bit of washi. And yeah, as I was saying, my original journals wouldn't have things I purchased for journaling, like washi tape and stickers and that. But they make me smile. I like this sort of stuff. So why not? It goes in here. Why not? It's a different sort of visual diary. It's a visual. There is no rules. There are no rules to journaling. That is the best thing ever. So I've got pink and I've got orange. Maybe I could do another orange. I'm trying to think if there was a colour that I think of when I think of that day. Rainbow. So I don't have specifically a rainbow coloured one, but that's close enough. So what I often do with heavier ephemera is I tape it in with clear Scotch tape. It's just my favourite tape in journaling. It's almost invisible. Get into that crease, and that just gives it the strength. It's usually fine, just one, but you can do the other side. Get into the crease, and then you get a nice fold. Just makes it extra. And then the decorative, then the washi tape just becomes decorative, which is what I want. That does remind me of the day. Yeah, close enough. That's it. And then get this one glued in. I bought these a few months back. Oh, I think I bought it during my Joyful Buy Tribe members to try it out. Distress watercolour pencils. Yes, I did. So you can see that it's a bit of a, it's not sequential. It's not a sequential visual diary. So my visual diary is, what do I have here? So I've got here 2024. A bit boring, this page. I might add more to it, but that's all it means. It just means that this book is 2024. And I'm super behind in it, so I am adding all this stuff. But it just means it's 2024. I don't have particular dates. If I really want a date, occasionally do I stamp in this one? Not so much. No, I don't have anything stamped. So not great in diary terms, in the sense of like knowing exactly when something happened on a certain date, but I have a daily diary for that, for those specific dates. Sometimes receipts have dates, so that's fine. But I know that when I pick up this journal, I know this is all for 2024, and I really want a date on something. I could add it if I remember, but most things I just wouldn't anyway. So that's it. This one is done, other than a little bit of journaling, and I normally just use my micron because it's straightforward and it fits. And usually, because it is a diary rather than a journal, then normally my writing will have something to do with what is around here. And I'm just doing some crazy lettering, different sizes and things. So we had a wonderful day out in Bristol. Me and my kiddo haven't been out somewhere like that in a very long time, for a number of reasons, including mental health and physical health. So it was quite special, and we managed to get my teen to not hurt his body, and so he was able to enjoy a good 4 hours in Bristol. Was really picked up by the life there. So much colour and personalities. You know, there's punks and there's hippies and there's ethnic food and just life and culture, just what I'm more used to. Oh, I can't spell culture. Oh my goodness, look what I did there. I don't know why, I was thinking about the E. So that's fine, because it doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah, so my kid got to spend a good amount of time and just picked up his spirits, and I was absolutely exhausted by the end of it, but it was worth it. And it was, oh, and there was sunshine. There was so much sunshine. It was a lovely day. That's why we went as well, because I was trying to find a day that it's not raining. I'm quite miserable. I say I'm quite miserable. I sort of contain it inside, but inside I'm a very miserable person when it's raining and I'm in town. Like, I don't like shopping. I don't want to like run in the rain. I don't want to carry things that I've shopped and try and keep things dry, or it's just that's not to me. Why I would do that if I had to, like if you had to run errands in town and buy something, then I would just get on with it and do it, but it's not a day out, if you know what I mean. To me, it's sunshine, it's strolling, that sort of thing. With rain, I want to be inside with my journals. It's a wonderful day out in Bristol. Life, colour, culture, energy, sunshine. It's fun writing. I'm enjoying that one. Don't know why I did that, but that's just what came out. And ... because there's so much more to that. And I've got the date there, so I don't even have to do that. And then I'm going to just, it's not really doodle, but I'm going to doodle a little arrow. There we are. And then I still have a little strip here that I could add another little memory, another little thought, or I could put a bit of washi tape, a bit with the orange flavour. And all of this washi tape I'm going to have for a long time. At the same time, much of it is of that year, over time. You could have washi tape that could last you some years, but especially the stuff that I have out in front of me, it's the stuff I'm using. So it's 2004 and 24 washi tape. It does still say something about my days and the sort of things that I'm using in my journals. Okay, I'm done. Look at how much I've got. That's nothing. I've just used and this was just from now. I've got stuff here that is from 6 months ago, from the beginning of the year. So I've got a lot to diary. So that's really great. I've got lots of material. So, but I've done this spread, and it's just been nice chatting to you while I get this done. And hopefully, if you haven't done visual journaling like this, visual diarying like this, and you're thinking about how to keep your ephemera, then maybe this gives you some ideas. I was putting a lot of my ephemera in this sort of memory keeper type journal. So I've got a lot of, this is half Smashbook, half visual diary. So I've got things like some of these are kits that I buy because that's fun. I do a bit of secret journaling. It's just stuff to get out of my head, but I don't necessarily have to think about it or remember it. I've got little bits from my art practice, and there's a little bit of there's a little bit of something, a pencil, a pen that I purchased there. So I do have a little bit of ephemera from things in other places. If my kiddo ever wanted to keep something of mine, this is the kind of thing to keep, because this is, and it's the kind of thing that I would want to keep if for whatever reason, like in 5-10 years, I'm like, I don't want to keep, I had say 50 of these, and I just thought, what am I doing with it? I just don't want them. They're just, for whatever reason, it's like they had their time, they had their purpose, it was fun to make them, but I want to keep something, then these would be the ones I would keep. It would be the ones with all my ephemera, and it's because it's a diary. It's not just fun, I'm just having fun and creating pages like that. It's it really is my ephemera, and it's easy. It's just in these Stalogy books. And if you're wondering why Stalogy, I'm a Stalogy girl, a Hobonichi girl. I mean, Tomoe Riva paper is my thing, and very thin paper, so then you can stick a lot in, and even though stick a lot in, and even though they do get bulky, they don't ever get too insane, depending on obviously what you stick in there. Anyway, just throwing that in there in case someone's thinking, what sort of book are you using? Okay, so that's enough for me, and thanks for joining me. See you next time. Bye.